when I was asking 2 days ago. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Councillor Skelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I had the luxury of watching from the sidelines as this council debated where to build a $150 million football stadium. Tim Hortons Field could have been built at the waterfront. It could have been built at Confederation Park. It could have been built off Longwood Road, and it could have been built on the mountain. Instead, after much debate, public input, and political games, the stadium was built on the original site, a huge mistake. Fast forward to today, and the scene is so familiar. But this time we aren't talking about a sports facility. We're talking about the total transformation of our city, including its historic downtown core. And it doesn't involve just $100 million, it's over $1 billion of taxpayers' money. This council made a mistake with the stadium, and I worry we are headed down the same path if we approve this deeply flawed and costly legacy project. Hamilton's LRT triggered questions and controversy from the get-go, and rightly so. It's funded from the $34 billion provincial initiative called The Big Move, a plan designed to address gridlock across the Greater Toronto-Hamilton area, something provincial officials claim costs our economy billions of dollars each year. We know there is gridlock on the roads leading from Hamilton to Toronto and from Hamilton to Niagara. We see it all day, every day. What we do not see is gridlock within the city of Hamilton. This LRT will do nothing to address this. The province has given this council a huge opportunity to tackle gridlock, but it will be a lost opportunity if we move forward with the plan before us tonight. We know that this city is not ready for LRT. That has been made very, very clear in the numerous reports presented to Council and by our own former Director of Transit, who argued in favor of BRT. I agree with him. If our intent is to truly get people out of their cars and onto public transit, then we need to provide a system that serves all residents of this city. We need an enhanced transit system with environmentally friendly, battery-run, custom-built luxury electric buses, buses that could feed into a BRT line, taking riders from our real growth areas, Waterdown, Ancaster, Binbrook, Stony Creek, to the downtown core, and then to our GO stations. And GO is the second part of the equation that we simply cannot ignore. Some of this money must be used to improve our GO service. Commuters in Hamilton deserve all-day GO service to and from Toronto. Think about a system with trains running all day with express service in peak hours. That would truly get people out of their cars and onto transit. Is that a possibility? Absolutely. In fact, the federal government has already set aside about $170 million just recently to expand the line through Hamilton. We simply cannot ignore GO service in a transit discussion in this day and age in the city of Hamilton. But we're not talking about GO. Tonight we are here to vote on the environmental assessment of our LRT, a plan I believe is deeply flawed. And I believe that if we support the route that is presented, we will be making a very big, permanent, and costly mistake. How can anyone sitting around this table possibly agree that we should be building an LRT on King Street? Seriously, it is perhaps the most narrow road in our downtown core, and we did not pick it. In fact, no one knows how we ended up with King. I have asked, I'm not alone, I know many people have asked why King was chosen. There has never been a really good reason, and that's because there was never a true study, discussion, or vote supporting King Street. It is the wrong street, period. And yet, we are going to approve a $1 billion train to run on King Street tonight. There is no parking on the line. The train doesn't run any faster than our current bus system. LRT stops are on average 800 meters apart, which is a very long walk for an able-bodied person, let alone someone with mobility issues. The LRT does not stop at our main bus hub, the McNabb hub. How can we, no it doesn't, how can we possibly support a train that doesn't link our bus hub? Traffic will be more congested following construction of this LRT than it is today. And trust me, we went on a tour of Kitchener. It's ugly. It's not attractive. It has overhead wires, it has poles, and it has transformers. One of the councillors and I had a discussion today. There are many, many other alternatives that do not require overhead wires. I beg of you, while we approve this, after we approve this, we must look at more current, attractive, appealing, and technologically advanced systems than what we are looking at today. And finally, we have no idea how much it's going to cost to operate, and as of 2 hours ago, how much it's going to cost, period. On our lap, just a few moments ago, we found out it's going to be extended 3 kilometers. Who's paying for it? We know the province isn't adding any additional money. They've simply said, we will allow you to expand and extend this track to Eastgate, but we're not giving you any additional funds. It will be used from the $1 billion envelope. What does that mean? If we run into trouble, where will we get the money? I know my councillor across the table has always argued that we need a contingency fund. We just ate the contingency fund. Does that mean we will eventually shorten this line? Be prepared, folks. This line isn't truly going to Eastgate. We just know that we are allowed to include it in the existing envelope, but we haven't been given any additional funds. We've heard about the power of moving forward, of building for our future. Well, I too want to build a healthy, sustainable future for my children and my grandchildren and your grandchildren. But I also believe in fiscal responsibility, and I don't believe that the plan before us is the right way to go. I don't think we have the dollars, and I worry about how much it's going to cost our children to pay for it. I would much rather see an enhanced citywide transit system feeding all-day express GO train transit. That's not going to happen. Tonight, we are going to approve the EA, and as Councillor Collins said, once it is approved, there is no turning back. I will not be supporting what's before us, but I hope Council recognizes the deep flaws within the plan before us and makes deep, positive changes to ensure that we build the best LRT system anywhere across Canada. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pearson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and certainly to all the previous speakers. First and foremost, I've crossed out and written more notes in as comments